My name is Tayari, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari.Yoruba camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or play in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye. My name is Bilingual, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari.Yoruba camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or play in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye. My name is Bilingual, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari.Yoruba camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or play in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye. My name is Bilingual, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari.Yoruba camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or play in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye.
Toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku, cheza nami, 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 toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku,
listeners, my apologies. I didn't know that I was okay. Strong apologies, audio issues again. So, welcome. My name is Busola. I'm your host for today. So I've been speaking about the um, what's it called? The Swahili camp that we're going to be having at Tayari.Live. It will be happening in Kenya, specifically at Upani in Diani. And this is going to be happening from the 16th of August to the 20th of August. It's going to be 5 days and 4 nights of fun and learning language Swahili camp. Really massive experience that any young child will have. When holiday seasons, I think it's great that you set up your young ones for this experience. Yeah, it will be an awesome time. Trust me. Of course, the testimonials from the people who have um what's it called now, who have been a part of this from inception, uh makes it very clear, right? So um yeah, make plans to be a part. The QR code you have there is a QR code that takes you to the registration screen, registration form rather. So please register, and then um let's prepare to host you and have a great time with you and your kids. All right, so thank you again for joining in today. So today, um with in the last few sessions, we touched base on some amazing Yoruba proverbs that holds a lot of wisdom, holds a lot of water for one to learn from and all that. And for me, it was an amazing 5-part series, right? Just touching base on proverbs, drawing wisdom from certain things, and you know, I mean, just having that experience um, of the wisdom that comes from knowing those proverbs, and it was purely amazing. So you could check it out. The 5-part series is will be living on YouTube for a long time because I don't think YouTube have plans of moving their own address to. So so it will be living on YouTube for a very long time. So you could take some time out. And I did a sort of like, it's supposed to be short, but I made it deliberately a bit long. So maybe for people who want to maybe take their time a little bit. So we did a TLDR session yesterday as well too, which you could watch. It was just basically showing the slides of the proverbs that we ran through. No explanation. I mean, nobody wearing you out with live lessons, right? Nobody wearing you out with live lessons. Just, I mean, purely, I mean, the what's it called now? The slides. Yeah, just running through the slides over and over and again. So, take a look at it, and it will be great. So today, um, I think something that is under emphasized, and I understand that a lot of times before we make decisions like this, we want to consider our purse, how much do we have, and all of that. And I get it. I understand that um decisions like this would always require that, I mean, you consider the financial implication. So when I say decisions like this, what do I mean? I mean decisions around helping your kids to be bilingual, learning an extra language apart from the one that you know. And in as much as, before I speak to exactly what I had in mind, in as much as our emphasis in Live actually focuses on, you know, um, families in diaspora who, I mean, their kids have not had the privilege of mixing with their native language because maybe they were giving birth to overseas and all that. There's also a component in which the issue of bilingualness also touches base on the psychological benefit. So there is the benefit of connecting to heritage, which is really what we are big on at Live. But there's also, now there are also other standing benefits, right, of having bilingual kids. So what that means is, even when they know an existing language, right, there's also the benefit that comes with them knowing another language. So let's say, for an example, I know how to speak Yoruba. I know how to speak Yoruba. I shouldn't say Yoruba. I know how to speak Yoruba. I know how to speak English, and maybe a decision to pick another language, like maybe Swahili, for an example, right? Which is one of the languages that um, we have strong curriculum for here at Tayari.Life. So if I choose to take one more language, now the benefits to that it's not now doesn't it doesn't that- now in that scenario it doesn't speak to connecting to heritage, but it has, I mean, advantages. Let's not go the direction of, I mean, you can get a job in the country. That's really not the thing, right? Because we're focusing on um the natural benefits now, not communal benefit or and all that. So it also has benefits. So I was saying that, you know, it's underrated when we assume that the matter of, learning more than one language just has to do with um what's it called, connecting to heritage. Connecting to heritage is one thing, but there are other benefits that also comes with, right? And those are some of the things that I want to walk us through. Some of these things are what's it called, they are well researched, no assumptions. They are things that um well researched, well documented. You could even, I mean, check up on them, and some of them are already on our Instagram page. So you could go over there and then just check. So I just want to walk you through why your champs, you know, must be bilingual. These are some of the things that you may not entirely have that power to help them to learn. I'm saying like systematically learn, maybe academically learn. All right. And you'll be seeing some of those benefits as we quickly run through some of them. All right. So let's go. So the secret superpower of bilingual kid, it's not just about having a bigger vocabulary, right? So let's start with the first one. So this one says that children who grow up speaking two languages or more develop significant high level of tolerance, empathy, and social flexibility. Why? Because their brains are wired to constantly navigate two cultures and two different sets of rules. So it says that they are natural bridge builders. Um, it makes sense to me, particularly as one who speaks more than one language. It does make sense to me. Um, there are things that we say they have passive advantages. That means, really, if you look at it, that is not a direct advantage, but there are other advantages that, I mean, spring up as a product of maybe having that one thing, for an example. And the ability to cross manage people, that I would not, I'm not really sure if it's just because of the ability to speak the language, or because, and I think more importantly is because your ability to speak both languages or more than two languages, it puts you in that position where um you naturally feel like a bridge builder, between two different worlds. So take for an example, if for an example, which I think I should start, paying attention. So let's say I could speak Mandarin, for an example. Now there's a Mandarin person here, and there's someone who knows only how to speak English. Now, when I'm in between a needful conversation that needs to happen between those two persons, there is a feeling I get helping to reconcile understanding for both persons in that one scenario, right? And um and that intuition can only develop in scenarios like that, when opportunity shows up for me to um maybe use more than one language, or speak more than one language, rather, pardon me, more than one language, of course, now with respect to helping two or more people to reconcile understanding of something. Right now, we're not saying that every person who knows how to speak more than one language are all bridge builders, right? Because there's also the place of decision, I mean, they can choose to not want to make any other person's business theirs, which is also very okay. I think nobody should be forced into what's it called, into doing what they don't want to do, right? Nobody should be forced into that. So what we are not saying is, I'm not saying that every single person who knows how to speak, both languages, usually, display this trait, but we're saying it's easier for them because that is a passive advantage that has been noticed by research. And if you can, I mean, if you look closely, the source where we pulled this from is from the Journal of Experimental Child Psychology, right? That's where this was pulled from. That children who grow up speaking two languages develop significant high level of tolerance, empathy, and then social flexibility. Again, I'm not sure if it's just because of the ability to speak the language, but I think, speaking for my own self, I think it largely has to do with the fact that um, when the opportunity comes to reconcile, you know, understanding for two different people on, in a particular event or a scenario like that, what happens is that um, that feeling for them is second to none. And of course, it's something that they possibly begin to maybe look forward to over and over and over and again, basically. So that's that about that. So they are natural bridge builders, but again, like I said, this doesn't work for everyone because there's still the room for someone deciding if it's something that they want to do or they don't want to do. But that tendency is there. So the other part that I have is that they see through two lenses. So when a child learns early on that an object can have two different names, they also learn that people can have two different perspectives, right? Science calls this theory of mind. Now, the ability to deeply understand that others experience the world differently than we do. That's the theory of the mind, right? And where we got this from is from the child psychology research, right? Child psychology research. So, and again, this just, I mean, strengthens what has been said before. I play a bit of the piano, and the, I remember when I was being taught how to interact with the black keys on the piano. Of course, if you have seen the piano before, there's a layer with white keys, there's a layer with black keys, and the black keys often have dual. They have two names, right? With respect to either the notes that is before them, or if you don't know music, don't worry about it. I'm just trying to make a point to buttress, this part of the entire conversation, saying that knowing that they have two different names, it also means that they also learn that people can have two different perspectives, and that is true. Speaking with respect to that piano example that I mentioned, um, as an example now, let's say for an example, the first black key that's closer to C, that key is called either a C sharp or it's called a D flat because it, the C key is behind it here, and then the D key is just in front of it here. The C is behind, the D is here, and then the C sharp is just somewhere above both of them. All right. So now, with respect to that naming, it simply means that whatever you choose to call the same key, the same sound, the same note, whatever name you then choose to call it at that particular point, it will change how you interact with it as you then begin to interact with other, sides of the piano and all of that. And I think it makes practical, like I said, it makes practical sense for me because I play the piano. That when you actually see that something has two different names, automatically, it's even like, I mean, you know how we can have, is it anthonyms now? Anthonyms or okay, synonyms would be other meaning, right? Antonyms would be I can't remember. I think one of them means either opposite meanings or other meanings, right? So meaning one word but has different contextual usage, or other words that you can actually use to replace the same thing. So it's just like it's contextualization basically, and of course you know that the moment, even when you're relating with the same thing, and the moment context changes, there is a demand on the mind to now learn the new interaction of that new context. Again, I know some of these things are sounding too technological, psychological, and all that, but yes, really, because these are some of the life skills that everyone needs. Ability to what's the word now, to make adjustments in different environments, and that's one of the things that um knowing more than one language helps you to do. You can see through more than, this says two lenses because now I'm focusing basically on two languages. But if you know more than two, it just simply means that you now have the privilege to be exposed to more cultures. Basically, that's it. And I think to a large extent, you can't downplay the advantage that this was. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, that there are certain things that we can't really sit our kids down to teach them. We just have to trust that as they live through life, they can pick those lessons, glean wisdom from it, and just get better. Basically, all right. So let me go through that again. So children who can speak more than one language, they see through two lenses. When a child learns on, when a child learns on early that an object can have two different names, they also learn that people can have two different perspectives. The introduction into that difference is very, very pivotal. So science calls this the theory of the mind, the ability to deeply understand that others experience the world differently than they do. And this really makes this, actually, the overall advantage of this is that it brings them to that point of empathy, and they're not quick to what's it called? They're not quick to um you know well, I would say they should not be quick to making judgments of wrong judgments of people, basically. So let's go to the next one. Next one says they are also masters of reading the room. So empathy isn't just about feeling, it's about listening. Bilingual kids develop a heightened sensitivity to tone of voice, natural verbal cues, and the tiny nuances of conversations. They are constantly reading the emotion, now temperature, forgive me, temperature of the room. Again, these are life skills that you know everyone must have. And I think it's great that you can set up your kids to already have these skills as quick as possible in their younger years. You can already set them up as quick as possible in their younger years to be a master reader of the room. Again, like I said, if you look at it logically, you don't directly see this as a direct advantage of my ability to speak more than one language. As I said, um they are tangential advantages. And like I said, some of these things, because we took our time to really research, because we don't want this entire conversation around, bilingual languages to just be that, okay, you must not, lose your culture. You must be connected to your Yoruba people and all that. Our culture is our heritage. Yeah, there's room for all that. We're saying, look, in partnership with that huge advantage, there is more. There is more. There are life skills that um life skills, yes, I think that's the word. They are life skills that you also learn tangentially from being able to do these things. It's like someone who knows how to bake cake. you know when they say I can bake, they don't necessarily directly tell you that I know how to handle measurements, but you know that handling measurements is a huge part of knowing how to make cake. I mean, you can't use too much sugar, you can't use too much butter, you can't use, because everything won't come out perfectly or come out well, right? So they don't directly tell you I know how to handle measurements, right? They only say I know how to make cakes. But a a a side skill that they have would be knowing how to measure cakes, right? So that's why I said, for some of these things, if you look at it directly, it may feel as though, I mean, I don't see the direct, you know, how do I call it? I don't see the direct impact of being able to speak two languages, mean that I know how to master, I know how to read the room, I can be empathic and all that. But hey, I mean, it's been seen that it's been researched that this is actually a byproduct of, you know, being able to speak multiple languages. All right. So let's go to the next one. So it says that they are the ultimate social chameleons. So for diaspora children, switching between the heritage language at home and the dominant language at school isn't just about translating word. It's an advanced daily exercise in social flexibility and emotional intelligence. Yes, yes, yes. And I think this is very true. It's very true. Every effort to actually force the brain to do something, uh how do I put this? To do something that is not um more like context switching, right? Like switching context. So you come home, you're speaking Yoruba, you go to school, you're speaking English, come home rather, you're speaking Yoruba. That switch of context is like an exercise. It's like when you're lifting something, right? It's like an exercise. And of course, definitely that as they master the language, when they now get into environments where, you know, there is a mixture of people like that, they feel they are like the social champion. Like the example I made at the initial was about, being in that scenario where you have to give, what's it called? Give clarity or bring understanding to two different people who only know how to speak one language. There's that satisfaction knowing that you have reached understanding for both persons. So really, it's true that for the average, um, for the average, what's it called? The average champ, they feel like you know, the word here is social chameleon, right? So just again, before we proceed, I want to remind you again that we're currently preparing to receive you and your family for our Swahili camp, which will be happening on the 16th of August to the 20th. So you can scan the barcode. I'm going to leave it at the top right corner of the screen, so that you can um, have it there while we continue with the session. So register. We want to host you and your family. So this one says science says that the secrets to their being empathic might just be hidden in their ability to speak their mother tongue, or again, as I've said, in their ability to speak more than one language. So the perspective advantage. So it says that kids aged between 4 and 6 who speak two languages are significantly better at seeing the world through other people's eye. They don't just speak differently, they observe differently. This is basically backing the points that we said initially about, um, i- just knowing that something has two different names. For an example, in Yoruba, this is called watch. It's also called ago. So n- just knowing that this one object can be called watch can also be called ago. That those two different perspectives, just helps them sort of in a way. All right. So just know that people can have different views and all that. Of course, when you're in a scenario and then you tell somebody that only knows how to speak Yoruba, you say, "Oh, please help me with my watch." Keep looking like what are you saying? So you see that something has been said, but understanding was not communicated. So in that particular scenario now, the child then definitely knows that, oh man, I need to find a way to come home to this person's level, or you know, help come to their own perspective of things, basically. Yeah. So he said they master the theory of the mind. This is just to reinforce what we have said before, that in psychology, this is the ability to understand that other people have, thoughts, feelings, and belief completely different from their own, bilingual kids and all of that. So it's basically just to reinforce what we had said before now. So navigating two different worlds builds an emotional superpower. Now, because diaspora children constantly translate between the culture at home and the culture outside, their brains build extraordinary levels of social flexibility and tolerance. You've heard me say that before now. So It then says that they hear what isn't being said. So speaking a heritage language makes children hypersensitive to tone, you know, non-verbal cues, emotional nuances. So they are able to read the room. If you've heard us say this before as well, too. So it's built-in emotional training, right? So while schools struggle to teach social emotional skills, speaking a heritage language inherently wires a child's brain for empathy and connection from day one. I want to reemphasize that part, that while schools struggle to teach social emotional skills, look at that word, social emotional skills. Speaking a heritage language inherently wires a child's brain for empathy and connection from day one. And that's the point. It's really about knowing that there are more skills that our children need beyond um um you know the academic skills and all that. So one of the major advantage that you really want your child, and everything that I've said really comes to, it culminates here. And one of the reasons why you really want your child um to be bilingual is because it builds social emotional skills, and that is very powerful. You cannot undermine that. You can't undermine the ability to be, you know, soundly sensitive around other people. It's a huge skill that cannot be undermined. So basically, that's really all that I have for us today. I want everyone to know I'm going to be ringing some of these tips bit by bit. I'm not a fan of rushing through things. um you know I rather give you just one that you can sink in, and then we proceed further to the next one. So basically, the entirety of everything that I've brought to you today is basically to let you know that social emotional skills actually has been scientifically proven to be buildable by learning more than one language. All right. So keep this in mind. And that's really what we do here at Tayari.Live, right? We we are big on, diaspora families connecting with their heritage language. And we have a website which I would like you to check out at your convenience. It's www.tayari.live. So you could check that out, look at our product. You have the privilege of, 20 minutes per day to, go through the entire website, just have a feel of exactly what we do, how the entire thing runs, and all that. So take advantage of these benefits, take the courses. For now, like I said, the only two courses that we are taking for now is Yoruba, and Swahili. So just look through, give us feedback. Let's know exactly what else we need to, make better for an wholesome experience. So thank you so much for joining in today. That would really be all that I have for you. But let's take some commercials again on the Swahili camp, and then I'll be back again to just ramp everything up and wish you well for the weekend. Here we go.
My name is Kendall, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari Swahili camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and we all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili a word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye. My name is Kando, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari.Yoruba camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and we all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili a word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye. My name is Kando, and I'm 14 years old. When I first heard about the Swahili camp, to be honest, I thought it was going to be like a classroom setting where we were only like we weren't having any practical like use of Swahili, and we were just like learning it on a whiteboard and stuff. But when I actually came to the Tayari.Yoruba camp, it was a lot more fun than that. We had a lot of activities and a lot of chances to like apply or in games and activities. And yeah. Some of my the best part of the experience for me was definitely the games and hanging out with people and making great memories that will definitely last. I would say that all of the teachers were my favorite because all of them were extremely supportive and understanding, and we all wanted to help improve like my understanding of Swahili and my learning. A Swahili a word I learned in camp was mawimbi, which means waves. Bye. My name is Kando, and I'm 14 years old.
Toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku, cheza nami, toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku, cheza nami. Toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku, cheza nami, cheza nami, toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku, cheza nami. Cheza nami, toka nilipokuona kwenye giza la usiku.
Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for joining in, and it's always an honor to host you for a shower. Don't forget to register for the camp. It will be an awesome time, promise. And that's a word of ours that we're giving for this experience. So thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, share this channel with anyone who you feel, who also need to learn things about, bilingual kids, Yoruba specifically, and all that. And give us feedbacks. Let's do exactly the things that we need to do better than we're doing currently. Follow us on Instagram. The page is Tayari.Live on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok, on LinkedIn. We're there. We're there. We're here to solve the problems of heritage and language continuity. Right. So follow us, give us feedbacks. We would love to hear from you. So that'll be all from me from today. My name is Musola, and it's always an honor to host you. Do have a great weekend. We're going to be seeing definitely from next week. Yeah, I'm going to be having two amazing hosts next week, and I'll be co-hosting with one of my very super energetic um you know um partner on the team next week. It's going to we're going to take it up another notch from next week. So um keep your eyes open. I said keep your eyes open, watch out and all that musically. So all right then.